Nordic Dog Center is located in Norway, but we have our teachers and students basically all over the world, covering all continents. So tonight I want to talk a little bit about finding a dog sitter. My personal opinion about things. It doesn't have to be your opinion, but it's mine. Maybe you can find some tips. Maybe I get you to think about things that you didn't think about before. Something like that. So a lot of people are going on holiday without their pets or their dog. We're talking about dogs. Some people have cats too, like I. So it's a bit more difficult when you have dogs and cats. Um, I have one dog and one cat now. I've for many years I had multiple dogs. I had up to 8 dogs and cats. So I always were looking for someone to come and stay in my home, because that was easier and better for my animals than they moving out from the home. And I still prefer that, to have someone coming into my home, sleep in the guest room, and just spending time here, instead of moving my animals to someone else's home. So that's an option you might want to consider. When it comes to where to find a dog sitter, there's a lot of people out there who are dog sitting, dog walking, caring for other people's dogs without any education, any credentials as such. And that could be fine. That could be fine. Some of my best dog sitters have been younger people who never went to a dog trainer school or did a course in behavior or anything. To me, that is not important. And to me, especially, I do not want the dog sitter to train my dogs in anything. They're not allowed even to train my dogs when I'm not there. So that's not important for me. What's important when I am away is to have someone to care for my dogs. Basically, what I tell them is that they should, just live their normal life, but staying at my place, watching TV, bring their own computer or whatever, iPad, and just do whatever they need to do. Go for a couple of walks. Now, I'm lucky to have gardens, in my house here, fence gardens. So, of course, they have to let the dogs in and out as the dogs are pleased when they want to, and then go for walks with my dogs and be nice to them and be kind so they can keep their routines, the dogs. And you don't, in my opinion, you don't need to have an education to do that. What you have to have is a personality and the empathy and the understanding of dogs that I reason with. Okay, so that's where it's, difficult to find someone for me, because I have my own ways of doing things. But in all fairness, think about what you need, what your dog really needs when you're away. Okay, probably not training, maybe just being cared for. So I would never trust someone I haven't met before. And I would like my dogs to meet the person as well. So before you leave on holiday, then I would definitely make sure that I have visited the person. If my dog is going to stay at the dog sitter's place, I'm taking my dog to his or her place. And if they're coming home to my house, then of course they have to come here and greet my dogs and, just be here for a little while to see how they get on and so on. So if you're going away on a 1 week or 3 week holiday, I would definitely spend the time and money to have my dog at the dog sitter's place, if that's the case, for one night before you leave. Preferably a long time before you leave. Then you can meet in between. Because, number one, if you're not happy with the dog sitter, then you have a chance to find a new one before you have to go. And secondly, of course, because the dog should be familiar with the place he or she is going to when you're going away. Um, References, I'm looking down on my notes. That's why so references is good to have as well. Not only online, Google reference, whatever, wherever you find them, you know, reviews and references can always be fake, basically. So, so to make sure, I would actually ask for a phone number for someone else who have taken care of, who has used that person as a dog sitter, call them up and asked for references. Um, so also check insurance, what your insurance cover. I don't know what it's like in your country. I have no clue. I only know about Norway. So if maybe your dog sitter needs her own insurance, that might be the case. Whatever it is in your country, you are responsible for finding out how it works and to make sure your dog is covered. And of course, leave your vet's phone number and details with the dog sitter in case they need to go to the vet for some reason. And that would be, of course, always the best if you use the same vet, if you have a regular vet that knows you and your dog. And if you don't have that, I would just, make sure to leave the contact details of any veterinary clinic that I would trust. Also, a lot of people, they are dog sitting different dogs at the time, many dogs, not only one, but several dogs, if they do it in their own home. And now I'm talking about people caring for other people's dogs in their own home, not a kennel as such, not somewhere where they are, put in kennels, like small rooms, and it's like a business, but if it's a private person, um, certainly in Norway, that's legal and that's fine to take care of other people's dogs in your home. So make sure that the dogs that your dog is going to stay with, that they go along well. How you can make sure of that, I don't know, it depends on the situation, but just think, about these things before you leave your dog with someone else. Imagine if your dog is spending 3 weeks in a house, which is not his or his house, with other dogs that they don't get along with. That's not a nice holiday for your dog. So make sure that they go well together. And if there are many dogs together, I would definitely also, make sure that the dog sitter know a thing or two about behavior. And it's a big, big plus if they know about the calming signals, how dogs, how dogs are, what they are, how they behave, and so on. Write down a list. That's what I do. Maybe I'm a bit, my list can be very long, but write down a list for your dog sitter of your dog's daily routines. Make sure you talk about, what they're eating, when they're eating, and so on. Treats, if you're giving them treats or any kind of chews, anything like that, it's good for the dog sitter to know. It's not only good, but she or he should know this. And also talk about how you're going to communicate with your dog sitter when you're away. Are you going to get daily updates? Will he or she send you a film of your dog, on your mobile, or whatever you decide? Make sure that you know this before you leave your dog with the person and you go away, so that you know what to expect, because we can be a bit, crazy dog people sometimes when we have to leave our dogs with someone else. Also, if my dog is not staying at home, I would of course bring one of the beds or blankets or even both, with the dog, so they have some familiar smells from home. Also, the same kind of food that they get at home, so they don't have to change their diet when they come to a new place. That could cause, some trouble, some stomach trouble maybe for some dogs, even if they have to change their diet. And for some dogs, it's stressful to move to a new place. They don't know, they don't understand when we tell them that we're coming back, so they don't know this. So it can be stressful for your dog. Um, Let me see on my list. Bring your dog. Well, I'm almost at the end of my list now. So I think my personal opinion is always that the best thing for my dogs is to be able to stay at their home and I bring someone into their home. So I have someone sleeping in the guest room. Of course, it's a person you have to trust, so you need to get to know them a little bit. You need to find some references and so on. And then to discuss all the details before you leave on holiday. And one important thing is always to do this early on. It's July, the beginning of July now. I already see Facebook full of this posts saying, "Oh, can please someone help me? I need a dog sitter. I'm going on holiday in 1 week or 2 weeks, whatever." Happens very quickly, and or a family member promised to take care of the dog, and now the family member changed their mind. Something happens. So, summertime, big holiday time, is the worst time ever to find a place for your dog. So be early so you don't end up, in desperation just putting your dog into a kennel or something that might have something available. If you talk to people who do kennels as a business when for taking in dogs when they are on holiday, they are fully booked a long time before holidays, fully booked. So it's very difficult to find something last minute during the holiday season. So be early and make sure that your dog will meet the dog sitter before you leave them alone, both for your own benefit so you can see how they're interacting with your dog, and of course for your dog's benefit as well to get to know the person. Um, yeah, that's it. And one last thing, I don't know if I want. It's no questions for me about this, but again, my personal um, opinion. First of all, I would my first what you call what I wish for is a dog sitter to come and stay at my home, the dog's home. If that is not working out, then my dog is going to their home. That's the second opinion. And not opinion, but second option. And if it's going to someone else's home, I want to know exactly who else is going to be there. If it's their own dogs and they know each other, it's perfect, But if there are some dogs that you haven't met before, I'm not sure. I would ask a lot about the other dogs. I would actually really would like to meet them with my dog before I left them there. And once in my life, I used a kennel. In Norway, we call them kennels, the places that you put your dog in if you're going on a holiday with the boxes and where they can run outside. It's like a business, like a dog hotel, if you want. There are many different kind of dog hotels. I once used it many years ago. I had 5 dogs and I had to go with work. I was teaching then at university and I didn't have a choice. They sent me to a different country during the week for 2 days. I had to attend some meetings. So I had to put my dogs in a kennel. And then I found the smallest kennel, the smallest, that had no bookings because it was during the week. So I rented the whole thing for my 5 dogs. But it was because I had 5 dogs. It was perfect. I think it had like just 8 or 9, places. So I was happy to pay for them all to have that to themselves. Um, and that was kind of an emergency for me because I didn't know that I had to travel and I just had to do it. It wasn't my choice to do it. I asked, of course, not to have to travel, but yeah, I had to do it. Um, if you're taking your dog to a kennel like that, for sure, go and visit it and don't just stay in the reception. I would see everything in that kennel. I would see how the staff interact with the dogs. I would see as much as I could, you know. There are good places and bad places and anything in between. So, a lot of people they don't know that. They're quite naive, I would say. And just, the reception area might be very nice and the people in the reception, but do you really know what yeah. So I had clients and even family members who have just, taken their dogs to kennels like that and just left them in the reception area where they were told they weren't even allowed to go and see the rooms the dog were in. And they thought that was, normal. So they didn't think about that. They just said, okay. But if someone told me that I was not allowed to see the room my dog was staying in, I would never ever leave my dog there, of course. And neither should you. So, with that, of course, the very first option is to take your dog with you when you're going on holiday. Yeah. I I think your dog deserves to be with you on your holiday. Yeah, absolutely. But if you can't, if you absolutely have to go somewhere without your dog, then these are my tips. I wish you all a nice holiday with your dog. Bye.